Very few authors can live on their royalties alone, not just because margins in publishing are thin and only the very few at the top of the publishing pyramid make enough royalties to sustain their livelihood. That is a thing. But it's also just not a great idea to have one source of income, right? Many of us start as authors with a day job, right? You have your 9 to 5 W-2 job, but what happens if you get fired, right? No money coming in. You're going to have to find a new job. Income and royalties as a writer and author are variable. So you may still have all your books, but what if you have a low sales month or quarter? Ooh. Today, I'm going to go over how you can adjust when royalties are low so you still have author income. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mary Kate M.K. Williams. I'm an author and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into the details of today's topic, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified when I put out new videos every week about publishing, making it career to being an author, and now being a mompreneur. So this video is for any author, self-publishing, traditional published. If I feel like especially traditionally published authors, because the payments can be so lumpy, like they need a plan for continuous income. And at least being self-published, I know I'm paid on net 90 or net 60. But since I've had books out since 2015, I get a royalty check every month because of a rolling basis. Now, I'm not immune to low sales months. Some months I felt like hot stuff, and other months I do not. Whether you've experienced that first dip after your launch, that one always stings. Or if you're just seeing lower page reads because of KU boycotts, your income is down. So the first thing that you're going to do when you see that your royalty payment is going to be lower because of reduced sales or slimmer margins is don't panic. Don't. That's the first step. Don't panic. Don't pity post or guilt people into buying your book. Don't slam the brakes on your current strategy and scrap it entirely. Don't throw money on some program or person who promises sales without explaining how they will get them. Decisions made in a panic never turn out well. Bleaching your hair, perming your hair, getting bangs. That's a commitment. Don't make decisions when you're in a panic, okay? We're going to be thoughtful and we know how we can adjust. All right. So now we're going to break our strategies into one, raising those royalties, getting them back up, and also alternative lines of income. So number one, we're going to raise your royalties.
How can you do that, MK? My royalties are low this month. How can we do that?
Your book is a piece of intellectual property. We want to maximize the many ways that you can make royalties from that book. So the first question I have to you, is your book available in all formats? Do you have ebook, paperback, hardcover, large print, audio? You get to relaunch effectively whenever a new format comes out. By popular demand, there's now an audiobook, and the popular demand was my bank account demanding more revenue, but you can have additional releases with each format. So make sure you're doing that, especially adding the hardcover if you only have paperback. I am amazed sometimes when people will pay more money for the hardcover. It's the same book, it's the same interior. There's a hardcover. People want it. Okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to watch my royalties come in. Okay. Now, another question is, can you add more retailers? So more opportunities for readers to buy your book by getting onto other retailers. Now, even if you are in KU, Kindle Unlimited, or on the author side, it's Kindle Select. On the reader side, it's Kindle Unlimited. That contract only requires exclusivity for your ebook. Can you put your print book out wide to different distributors? Like I'm wide with my book. So 50% of my income each year comes from Amazon, KDP, or ACX. The other 50% comes from everywhere else. Now, some genres do really well in KU, so I understand the hesitancy to go wide with your ebooks. Nothing is stopping you from going wide with the other formats, having wide audio, having wide print. Once you have those new retailers, tell people, hey, you can now get this book on paperback at Barnes& Noble. Hey, you can now get the audiobook at Spotify. Hey, you can there's always new things to be saying because as much as we know our audience and maybe their reading preferences, we don't know where all their retailers are, and we want to be able to be there with them. Okay. Now, have you exhausted all the ways of reaching your audience? Okay. Are there reader-focused podcasts for your genre that you could be reaching out to, whether they want to do an author interview or you just want to say, hey, have you talked about this kind of book? Here's 3 other books that would comp to it based on this subgenre. I kind of pitch them some ideas that maybe would include your book. Have you engaged with influencers to see if they would review your book in exchange for a copy? Yes, some of them you may have to send them a physical copy and therefore you have to pay for the postage. Some who are slammed might say, hey, like you actually have to pay for my time to read your book too. There's a difference between saying, yes, I'm compensating you for your time in reading my book versus I'm paying you for a review. That's a little bit different because they could still post a bad review after you paid them to read your book. So keep that in mind. But there could be other ways that you can be reaching out and networking. Okay. If you've exhausted all the no cost options as a non-paid marketing, so yeah, you're going to be spending your time social media promotions, you're spending your time to pitch podcasts or book talkers, but now we're going to talk about some of the paid opportunities. So have you done paid newsletter inclusions? I think those give you a better bang for your buck than pay-per-click ads because pay-per-click ads can get really expensive really fast and you have to pay a lot of attention to optimize them. Whereas the paid newsletter inclusions, you already know the max amount you're going to spend. You've already spent it. So you have a chance to get an even lower cost per book as you sell more. Now, what were my last thing for raising your royalties is what were all those ideas that you brainstormed to promote your book when you were planning to launch it? Whether it was last month or last year, you had all these ideas to promote your book. Let's go back to that and revisit and see, can you do any of those now? I know I fell into this trap a lot too with like, well, this book is old. Like it's from a couple years ago. Nobody's going to want to hear me talk about it. People want to hear you talk about it. New books are coming out all the time, and backlist is always what sells a higher percentage because it's bigger. So try it, give it a try. Try anything you can to raise those current royalties. Now we're going to talk about diversifying your income. So you're doing everything you can to raise the royalties. That's working over on this side for you. Okay. Now we want to diversify your income sources because even with all those ideas, you will still have an ebb and flow with your royalties. Okay. So let's expand just outside book income. So, for starters, what are you really good at as an author? Okay. Did you get an agent offer in a week because you had the best query letter that's ever been written in the history of literature? Okay. Maybe you could sell a printable guide to help fellow authors learn from your success. Can you make a YouTube channel about your author journey or expertise? Now, that is obviously a big time commitment, a big investment of your time and effort. But if you like making videos already, you might be able to monetize your channel quicker. And again, that is a long term strategy, but could be an option. Helps smooth the bumps for me. I know whenever I have a low royalties month, I inevitably have a high YouTube month. When I have a low YouTube month, I do have a high royalty month. Just saying. Okay. Now, did you design your own book cover? And it's breathtaking because you have graphic design skills. Could you potentially offer to make book covers for other authors, or at least help them take their book cover and make mock ups for them, or do some kind of other creative services? Like, what can you do? Okay, I stumbled into this myself. So I was self publishing my books outside my day job. And then I had people come and ask me for help. And they were like, okay, cool, cool, cool. I get the strategy, but can you just do that for me? And that is how I became a self-publishing coach, right? People just said, can you just project manage this for me? I love that you taught it to me. I love that you explained it. Can you just do it? And I said, yes. I was upfront that I hadn't done that for somebody else before, to obviously the first few clients. But then after that, they just kept recommending me to other people. Like I never once had to market my services. It was constantly just word of mouth business. So that was something, yes, it took time. I had to pay for, professional level Zoom. I had to pay for Calendly. I had to pay for a few other tools, but like that was an investment in that business that grew. And that was a really good extra line of income to have, again, when the royalties are low. It's nice to have other sources of income. Okay. The next option would be letting people contribute to your art and your expertise. So you have places like Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, Substack with the paid newsletters. So it may not be a lot, but it could be something that just kind of gets you through those low royalty months. And also, you're now speaking directly to your biggest fans, right? If somebody is taking the time to buy you a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee or follow you on Patreon or subscribe to your Substack and pay for the paid content, they're clearly a big fan of yours. And now you have a direct connection to them for when the next book launches, for when the next thing you do comes out that they want to know about and that they want to tell other people about. Okay. Now, starting a whole new line of business is daunting, like starting a book cover design service, starting a YouTube channel, being a book coach, that's too daunting because that is a lot of work. I want you to think about every brand that you voluntarily share about every week. Then go and see if they have an affiliate program. So if a friend keeps asking for tips on which writing software to use, and you're constantly saying, yes, this is the software, you must use it, go and see if they have an affiliate program because it costs that friend nothing extra to use that link, but you get to make a commission. Same thing with your favorite book subscription box. See if they have an affiliate program. Bookshop.org has an affiliate program, okay? So if you're always excited and you're always recommending these brands, it's okay to get a cut of the money that they're making from your word, okay? And I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but every little bit helps to smooth out those low royalty months, all right? Now, after all of this, I'm going to say the number one best way to increase your royalties is to write another book. I know. I know it's hard. All these things I mentioned are hard. They take time. But while editing and revising and either querying it or self-publishing it, don't have as much time to promote the first book. I know. But more books, sell more books. Okay. Now, what other questions do you have? What tips did I miss? How have you been battling your variable royalties? Drop that in the comments below. We'll keep the conversation going. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and maybe even hit that shiny new thanks button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information, and then they can get it in front of other authors like us. Now you can get back to writing your book.